Thanks, Purvasha, and nice to see Dr. Vikas and Vineet here. Uh, I'll just I'll just start with saying thanks to Dr. Somashila for such a nice academic feast on endothelial keratoplasty here now. So I'll unveil my talk by taking you through that what is the science behind the evolution of the corneal transplant. Why is it important to go on to DSEC and DMEC? Why are they better than BK? Is learning DMEC difficult? I think that's the question in our minds all the time when we are DMEC trying to transit. And what should you do for a smooth transition? So if you look at the transition from PK to DLEC to DSEC to DMEC, over time we realize it is the pursuit for a better vision, for lesser rejection and better long-term outcomes, why we have lesser stromal transplant, which is being coming into evolution. If you look at the what is the causes of the penetrating keratoplasty, what are the etiologies for which we are treating transplants, you'll realize about 50 to 60% of the transplants are actually for reasons where there is an endothelial disorder, either in the form of the PBK, Fuchs, or the failed grafts. So anatomically, if you look at it, DMEC is definitely no stromal tissue. So there is no interface haze or irregularity. Anatomically, it is one of the best appositions that you can get. And if you look at the visual outcome in DMEC versus even DSEC, which it definitely has its own place, there is not only a rapid visual improvement, but also that vision remains for a longer time improving. And also there is a lesser rate of best corrected vision is also better, whether for near or for distance. Even with the best of the hands, the ultra thin DSEC still would rate lesser than DMEC. So DMEC definitely visually improves, has a better visual outcome. Unlike what it is in our thoughts and our minds, a mindset that maybe in DMEC we'll have a loss of endothelial cell loss would be greater. The graph in studies shows that it is quite equal to what we do in DSEC. So to conclude, mainly DMEC has lesser rejection rates, has better long-term survival, has lesser need for steroids, and you are also avoiding glaucoma, which is a very major complication of most of our transplant patients. So overall, DMEC is very, very convincing to be adopted over time, especially for surgeons who are DSEC surgeons. So I'll go on to the second part of my talk, which is about guiding the learners. So I think there are a lot of mind blocks. If you look at the learners or early surgeons who are doing very advanced DSEC surgeons also, they definitely feel that DMEC is a difficult surgery. It's an elite surgery to be left with few surgeons. The graft preparation would cause a lot of tissue wastage. Visibility is a problem. And I mean, finally, even if you want to learn, how do you learn? So if you go to look at the studies which have been done on the training part of endothelial keratoplasty, you would see that it is much easier for a DSEC surgeon to shift to a DMEC surgeon. And if you look at the results of any DSEC versus the DMEC surgical outcomes in the learners, they are actually, the graft is very similar. The outcomes are very similar. So there is no fear that you should have that if you're going to shift to DMEC, you're going to lose a patient's vision or you're not going to do well. That's not true. Apart from that, definitely the slide on the left corner shows that if you attend wet lab courses, you have a mentor behind you, and you have various digital platforms which you're going to use, you can have a better shift to DMEC. You can adopt to it DMEC. Having said that, I think for a learner, it's very important to understand there is a place for DSEC and there is a place for DMEC. So if you're going a DMEC in the right indication, which is a PBK with a well-placed IOL, with minimum peripheral anterior syne K and good visibility, DMEC is a surgery you can adopt to. However, in DSEC, it is reserved, it has a place in presence of DMEC as well. And that is the distinction which you have to make in your early learning curve, that you choose the right cases for DMEC, and DSEC is definitely be kept for complicated cases, which the previous session has very nicely elaborately talked about. Hence, it's important in your mind that you choose your cases very carefully in your learning curve. The three major challenges which have been felt in the early learning curve are at the time of the graft preparation, the graft orientation inside the eye, and the high rate of graft detachment and requiring rebubble post-op. However, if you would look at what are the instrumentations which is required for DSEC versus DMEC, DMEC requires far simpler instruments, and it is much easier to adopt to it because the instrumentation, and it is basically the technique. If you are taught the right technique, it shouldn't be much difficult as compared to DSEC. Also, DMEC is evolving with time. The iBanks are increasingly adopting to a pre-stripped, a preloaded DMEC, which is already being started in the Western world. So it is one step ahead. It will be like a IOL surgery in the coming future, where you can inject a DMEC graft into the eye. The next issue, which we said, a mind block, that probably the visibility and the unfolding is going to be a problem. That's absolutely true. In an Indian scenario, having cases of difficult pseudophakic bullous keratopathy, that is one challenge. And probably we need to adapt to means by which you will be able to see the graph better. That shouldn't stop you from doing DMEC. With in understanding of the unfolding techniques now, a better understanding of the DMEC unfolding techniques, it is quite simple to open a graft where the visibility is sufficiently good. And there are means by which you can have an anterior chamber viewing systems which are available. A simple light flight from a retina, a colleague, or other means which we can talk in detail in a DMEC session, are the means by which visibility shouldn't be a problem now with marking, etc. Hence, with the growing understanding of the DMEC, the world is adopting to DMEC. So it's already in a lot of countries are moving in their early training program with DMEC. So DSEC and DMEC are going parallel in learning, and we should be able to adopt to it. With the last point, I would just like to say that for people who want to learn, Endothelial Keratoplasty Learners Group is a group with me and Vineet, Dr. Praveen, and Aditya with Mridula have put together a very long course where most of the good EK surgeons, faculty have spoken step by step about DMEC as well DSEC. And you can always choose to go on the Facebook and learn from that. It's a long 40-hour session. And also on the global summit that we are doing, we are also trying to bring a digital wet lab where you can actually try and learn how you can do it on animal and human models, practice to do it. So there are no less platforms available to learn DMEC, with which I would like to just summarize that it's mandatory probably to transit from PK to endothelial keratoplasty in right cases in DSEC and DMEC for the best outcomes for your patients. The learning curve can be shortened by adopting to learning platforms, a right mentor being around, and attending wet lab sessions. And with standardization of technique, with pre-stripped tissue available, simple instrumentation, it shouldn't be difficult to adopt to do. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, Dr.